What is the exact amount an Australian needs in ETFs to live overseas forever and never work again? Not theories. Not hype. Real numbers, real countries, real Aussie costs. Let's break it down. To figure out how to live overseas forever, you only need one number: how much you spend each year. Once you have that, you can apply the Aussie 4.5% rule. It's simple. Your total portfolio value multiplied by 4.5% equals the yearly income you can safely live on forever. So why 4.5%? The standard rule of thumb globally is the 4% rule, but Aussies have a few unfair advantages. We get higher dividends from our market, often between 4 and 6%. We get franking credits, which can add another 0.5% to 1.2% boost. We have lower long-term capital gains tax compared to many other countries. And historically, our ETFs have shown strong performance, averaging 8 to 10% returns long-term. All this means retiring overseas is cheaper and faster for Australians than for almost anyone else. So let's look at the real cost of living in some popular spots in Southeast Asia, in Australian dollars. These are full 2025 budgets for Aussies living a good life, not just scraping by on the bare minimum. In Thailand, think Bangkok or Chiang Mai, you're looking at around $1,600 to $2,100 a month. That's about $20,000 to $25,000 a year. In Vietnam, places like Da Nang or Ho Chi Minh City, it's slightly cheaper, $1,500 to $1,900 a month, or $18,000 to $23,000 a year. Over in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur or Penang, it's about $1,700 to $2,200 a month, which works out to $22,000 to $26,000 a year. Bali, a favorite for many Aussies, is a bit more at $1,900 to $2,400 a month. That's $23,000 to $29,000 annually. In the Philippines, say Cebu or Davao, you'd budget $1,700 to $2,100 a month, or $20,000 to $25,000 a year. And Cambodia is one of the most affordable at just $13,000 to $1,700 a month, which is a tiny $16,000 to $20,000 a year. So if you can live comfortably on $20,000 to $30,000 a year overseas, the amount you need in your ETF portfolio is surprisingly low. Let's do the math. Using our 4.5% Aussie withdrawal rule, here are the exact portfolio values you need. If you want to live overseas on $20,000 a year, you need a portfolio of $445,000. To live on $25,000 a year, you'll need $555,000. If you're aiming for a $30,000 a year lifestyle, you need to save $667,000. What if you want a more luxurious nomad life on $40,000 a year? That requires a portfolio of $890,000. And if you want to live like absolute royalty on $50,000 a year, you'll need $1.11 million. This is huge. It means the average Aussie could retire overseas 10 to 20 years earlier than they could retire in Australia, simply because the cost of living drops by 40 to 70%. Now, what kind of ETF should you hold? Here are a few simple, diversified, and fire-friendly portfolios for Aussies. First, Portfolio A, which I call the Simple Aussie Fire Portfolio. It's 40% VS for Australian shares and those high dividends, 40% VGS for global market exposure, and 20% IVV for the US S&P 500 powerhouse. It's balanced, diversified, and has long-term returns in that 8 to 10% range. Next is Portfolio B, the Set and Forget. This is just 100% BDHG. That's it. It's an all-in-one fund that automatically rebalances and gives you global exposure. It is perfect for people who want simplicity and don't want to mess around with their investments. Finally, Portfolio C, the high dividend overseas living portfolio. This one is designed to maximize your income. It's 50% VSA, 30% VHY, which is a high-yield Australian shares ETF, and 20% A200, another low-cost Aussie shares option. This portfolio can yield 5 to 6% in income alone, plus franking credits. That means you could potentially live overseas just off the dividends without ever having to sell a single share of your ETFs. So how long does it actually take to reach these numbers? Let's assume an average annual return of 8.5%. If you invest just $150 a week, you'll hit $500,000 in about 21 years. That's enough to retire in Thailand, Vietnam, or Cambodia. If you can bump that up to $250 a week, you'll hit $500,000 in about 15 years. If you invest $400 a week, you'll get there in just 11 years. And for the super savers, if you can manage $800 a week, you could hit that $500,000 mark in only 6 to 7 years. You might be a lot closer than you think. Let's talk about the extra benefits Aussies get when they live overseas, because it's not just about the money. These are huge lifestyle upgrades. First, the obvious one. A lower cost of living means a better lifestyle for less money. You might enjoy a healthier climate, depending on the country. There's no mortgage pressure. Food, transport, and even healthcare are significantly cheaper. You can take advantage of medical tourism savings for certain procedures. Many people find they have more freedom and less stress. You get year-round warm weather in most of these places. Your Australian dollars stretch so much further, and you gain the ability to travel regionally for super cheap, with flights between countries often costing just $40 to $80. Living overseas isn't about running away from something. It's strategic financial optimization. The real secret behind all of this has a name, GeoFire, which stands for geographic arbitrage. This is the powerful strategy where you do three things. You earn in a strong currency, the Australian dollar. You invest in high growth markets, like ETFs, and you live in a low-cost country, like those in Southeast Asia. This is the cheat code that many wealthy Australians use, but don't often talk about. And as we've seen, the math proves that it works. So here's the truth. You don't need $1.5 million. You don't need the classic Aussie dream of a house in the suburbs. You don't need a perfect high-paying salary. For a full-time overseas lifestyle with no job required, giving you financial independence for life, you re-looking at a portfolio of around $450,000 to $700,000 in ETFs. Once you cross the $1 million mark, you have absolute freedom. You never have to worry about work again, and you can choose to live comfortably in Australia or overseas. If this sounds like a plan for you, let's make it personal. If you want me to calculate your personal overseas FIRE number, comment your age and your current monthly spending below, and I'll create your custom freedom plan right there in the comments. This video is for general information only and is not financial advice. Please do your own research and consider your personal situation. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-world finance strategies for Aussies. See you in the next one.